Welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Hey, happy birthday or something like that, everybody. It's a US Rugby Happy Hour Live. What's up, Fitzy?
Bill, that opener, man, that video, it gets me fired up every time. Love seeing
I know. I love it. And, you know, the funny thing is our voice guy, his voice is actually, it's a little bit higher like this. And I had a little fun with the EQ. I said, hey, this is you, buddy. That is not me. It's you. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome.
Fitzy, you had your Rugby Morning newsletter that came out today.
Yeah.
Had a big announcement on it. Well, it was a projected big announcement on it. By either MLR, San Diego Legion, or World Rugby. I'm going to let you take this.
Well, I mean, I think we've all seen it now, but if you haven't yet, how about this? The San Diego Legion, Snapdragon Stadium, they're going to host an international test match. The All Blacks are coming to the U.S. They're going to take on Fiji on Friday, July 19th. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty big news for Snapdragon Stadium.
I think it is too, and it's like a warm up to the MLR finals, right? Is that a couple weeks later?
2 weeks later.
Yeah, maybe our guest and I might be there. I'm just hoping the Fijians don't drink too much kava. I don't know if you've ever had any of that stuff, but you can wreck the place if you have too much of that.
I'll tell you the time I took a trip to Fiji. It was when I was in college, but that's for another day. That's for
yeah. Also, news came out today. USA Women's schedule for the Pacific 4 series. I'm excited to finally have some news out because we've had some, the new coach Sione Fukafuka on a couple weeks ago, and even he's kind of like saying, we got matches, but we can't say when and where. So I like this. Any bets on where we'll be against Canada, preferably United States? But any thoughts?
Yeah, again, I think listening to an interview that Peter Sickle, I guess, co-owner of the RFC LA on a Rugby Wrap-Up episode a couple of weeks ago, teased something. This was before the news that the Anthem were joining MLR, and they had to go back and revise the schedule. But he teased something about a potential doubleheader sometime in April. So if that's the case, I feel like it's going to be in LA, and if it can be right after the RFC LA plays, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking forward to getting out there. Hopefully I can get out there this year. But one other team that has some news to release today, the New England Free Jacks. I know we've talked about this before. They do a great job with their festival atmosphere at their stadiums in Quincy, Mass, outside of Boston. They announced their festival schedule earlier before Anthem came in, the new Charlotte team. And so they had to redo the whole thing. So their schedule just came out. I want you to look at this. It's kind of hard to see right here. But if you look at this, I want to point out two of them, okay? Mm-hmm. There's some good stuff in there. Yeah. But here's two. Champtoberfest against your boys, Old Glory.
That's right.
All right, look at that. Live Oompa band.
We're going to spoil that weekend for you, but that's awesome.
Whatever. And then what I'm looking forward to against, again, our guest team later in the season, Mixtape Metal Fest. Yeah, baby.
Are you the opening act for that show? For that game?
I hope so. I who knows? I have to get my wig on and rock it out. But those shows, they do concerts after, so the stage on the side of the field. And it's gonna. I cannot wait. It's gonna be a blast. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Okay, before we get to our guests, one last thing. Let's talk a little business here. Listeners, please like, follow, or subscribe to this show and copy the link and share with a friend. Also, reviews really help the show grow. Any 5-star review, we'll read it live on the next show. Follow us on social media and visit Eagles Overseas and Rugby Morning for more information. All right, let's get into it. Our guest is waiting in the green room. He is a member of the USRPA on the steering committee. Let's all welcome Seattle Seawolves tight head Mason Pedersen. Hey, Mason.
How's it going? Thanks for
good. How are you?
I'm
good, man.
Well.
Are you strictly a tight head? Do you play loose head at all?
Yeah, tight head only.
Tight head only. Like, screw that side.
Yeah, I played loose head when I was younger, but tight head for the last 6 years. So
nice. I gotta commend you. The image that Seattle has of you on their website, you look like you're about to kick someone's ass. Or
I don't know.
Or like Like someone bumped into you in a bar, you're like, is there a problem?
I don't know why they use the angriest photo of me. I'm really a happy person, I swear.
Well, you know what? I actually like that a little better than the Austin picture. I think you're flying through the sky.
Hitman.
There we go.
Hitman. No,
Bringing
it's
back the
all
vintage
good.
ones.
Yeah, Fitzy, you and I think we were talking about our research crew. Didn't you find something about Mason that we didn't know or we did know?
Yeah, absolutely. So our crack research team is this thing called Wikipedia. So thank you, Wikipedia. But Mason, so you grew up in Long Beach, California, or the Long Beach, California area.
Yeah.
Are you a surfer?
I am not.
Oh,
I surfed a
really?
little bit when I was a little kid, did a little surf camp, but as I grew older, kind of grew out of it. Not very good, so I try to stick to the things that I'm good at. I get frustrated when I'm not. So I have a lot of friends that surf, but not me.
Okay. So if you didn't surf, did you skateboard?
I did skateboard when I was
Okay.
younger. Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Every California kid does that, don't they?
Yeah, right. All right. One more Long Beach question. Sublime or Snoop Dogg? Who did you listen to growing up? Nice. There it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely big into Sublime in high school. Definitely.
Any chance that the new LA club has been knocking on your door? Hey, you want to come home?
A little bit. I'm happy here in Seattle. I do know Pete Sickle personally. But no, I'm happy here in Seattle right now. Home is home, but it's been nice to kind of get out and do something different and be around different cultures and different environments.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Mason, let's get into it. We've got some news to talk about. Big news this past week. MLR signed a voluntary recognition agreement with the United States Rugby Players Association, the USRPA. 3 years in the making. Congrats on that agreement. What does this all mean?
Yeah, I think it just brings us closer as players in the league and working together. I think it's a huge thing for players and the league moving forward. I think now we can collaborate together and bring new things to the table, and I think it just gives the players a voice. I think that's the big thing that we've been looking for, and a lot of hard work's been done by a lot of people to get to this point. But no, I think the league kind of came to the table and was like, let's make this work, and we were very happy with that. And I think to get it over the line has been a huge step, and I think I give praise to Bryce Campbell, Butch Fawcett, Chris Mattina, Nick Savetta. They've done a lot of work as well to kind of get this over the line, so don't want to leave them out of this.
Sure, and that's got to feel good to at least, before the season officially kicks off, regular season, to get that, out of the way, so to speak, right? Where you can we can focus on playing rugby. Does it feel good just to have that process finalized now, and then you can start to move forward, working with MLR to collectively strengthen the league?
Yeah, definitely. I think that ultimately, for those that know, there was going to be a vote through the National Labor Board. That isn't happening now, so that's a big win for both teams. Money saved, animosity saved, and I think now we can just really work together. And I think that that's always been the goal for us players, that we just want to sit at the table and help grow the game in America. I think a lot of people know, like, this isn't a sport where you're going to be set for life or anything. I think that we just want to grow the game, and I know you guys do as well. I think that's a big thing for us, especially us older players that have been around. We just want to see the league keep growing and having stable jobs for us and the future players in America.
So Mason, was there any influence? I mean, what changed? Any influence from World Rugby to get this deal done? Did it have anything to do with Anthem Rugby at all?
Not on our end. I don't know much about the league's end. I don't think so. I think that ultimately it came down to, I think both sides ultimately saw the benefits in working together and seeing the benefit overall over time. I think that we both kind of came together and saw, okay, we can change a little bit here, change a little bit there, and it'll work out for both of us.
Nice. Yeah. I guess, Mason, as in the off season in particular, with, two clubs going down, Toronto and New York, and particularly it seemed like quite a surprise for both those clubs to go down. What can you share with us with like any conversations you maybe had with players who are, kind of maybe like concerned about the long-term viability of the league? Were any of those conversations taking place at all?
Yeah, a little bit here and there through the stuff. I know I personally have gone through it as well, so it's not too much different than what we went through in Austin and LA. I think there's a lot of questions in what happens after. I think that we're just trying to facilitate helping out the players wherever we can. I know people have questions. I think that this league is going to be viable for a long time. I think that it's going to grow, and I think there's a lot of potential. And I think that bringing the players on to help that grow and using our minds and our knowledge that we've gained from the other side, I think is going to help both sides grow in the next couple of years. And I think it's going to be huge for us all. I think the game's going to start to take off in the next couple of years because of this.
What, Mason, for you with the steering committee, can you talk about your input at all during this process? I mean, anything that maybe you and other people in the steering committee have discussed with the two parties that, again, kind of pushed you guys over, over this wall to get to where we are now? Any specifics you can share about that?
Not too many, but yeah, I think the ultimate goal was, I think both sides didn't want to go to a vote ultimately. I think that steering away from the National Labor Board and kind of doing this together shows that we're willing to work together. I think that that's what ultimately brought us. I think that they saw the value that we could bring. And yeah, I think that it's been a long off season and a lot of work and a lot of talks. And I think between Nick Benson and Nick Savetta, they've done a really good job at keeping everybody in the loop and kind of steering those conversations. And yeah, it's been awesome to see it all come together. I think that this is the goal we wanted from the beginning. So I think that it happening last year, it's okay. I think we can just turn the page and start to build rugby in America and build the MLR.
What was, in your opinion, Mason, what was the sticking point for Major League Rugby leading up to this point? Was it maybe because it's such a new league? They're worried about organizing too soon? Was there, in your mind, was this something there that really was sticking for them, why they didn't want to do this sooner?
I can't speak for them personally.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard. I think it's another voice and it's another thing to work with. I think that there's a lot of stuff happening day to day that we don't see as players and stuff. And yeah, I can't speak for them personally, but I think that it's a lot to bring another voice on, but I think that it's needed. And for us players, I think that it's massive for us.
Yeah, 100%. Real quick, everybody listening in on or watching online on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, my LinkedIn page. Go ahead and follow me if you'd like. You can leave comments in the chats. I know some of them don't get to us up here, but if you have a question for Mason, Fitzy, myself, go ahead and drop it in the chats and the comments. I already see a couple. We're going to use it a little bit later in the show, but if you have any MLR, USRPA questions, go ahead and drop those in there. We'll get to them also. We're gonna pivot a little forward here into about MLR and Seattle Rugby, but we don't mind going back as well. So go ahead, drop some questions in there, and we'll get them on here as well. So Mason, let's jump over to the Seawolves. Let's talk about your team. I know you're relatively new in camp, or beginning recently. You lost Jake Turnbull, obviously. Big Joe is back there. Like I said, pretty new in the camp. How's it all fitting in so far?
Yeah, I think we've had a great start to camp. Boys came in pretty fit. The gym's been awesome. The energy's been awesome. We've got stuck right in. Can't complain. I think that we're much farther along than we were last year at this time. The team's pretty exciting. New faces. Always fun to meet the new people, and the old faces to see them again. But yeah, I think we're off to a flying start. I think we've had a great week and a half of camp so far. Guys were getting in a bit early, meeting each other already. So yeah, I think we've had a flying start to camp so far.
Have you had a chance to sorry, Fitzy, have you had a chance to pack down with Joe Talfetti, Big Joe? Do you need to do extra squats to get ready to lift him up?
Joey's a big boy. No, I've known Joe for a long time. We've had a few setups. He's coming off injury. So I haven't really packed down with him yet, but yeah, no, it's awesome to have Joe in camp. He's a good face to have, good knowledge. He's been around the world. Always good knowledge for us front rowers to have somebody like that in camp.
Yeah, Mason. I mean, last year Seattle had a good season, and what are the expectations going into this year? You know, certainly San Diego has retooled, and Houston's going to be a challenge, and Utah is, you know, always a sticky team to play. But you know, what are some of the discussions in camp about? Is it like, hey, we've got a good team here, we can make a good run to the Shield?
Yeah, I think everybody's seen the signings over the offseason, but we're really focused on ourselves. I think we have the squad to beat anybody on any day. The West is going to be hard. It's going to be a graft. Week in, week out, any team can beat each other. I think that we know that, and we know that we got to show up every day and work hard, knowing that when the games come, we got to be ready, and you can't start slow. You got to start fast. We got, I think, San Diego coming week 1, so we can't start slow. And yeah, we know that it's really about us ultimately. We got to nail our stuff and get our stuff ready so that we can be the best possible team that we can. I do think we have the horses to go all the way, and I think that the Shield is really what every team's looking after, but I think that we have a legitimate shot. Last year we came up a couple games short, and I think that we want to avenge that. I know there's a rich history here of making it to the final and competing for that Shield, so I think that the goal for all of us is to work as hard as possible to get back there.
So, Mason, we got a couple questions came through about the agreement still, and these two have to do with health care. So I want to drop one up there, and I'll read it also in case you can't see the whole thing. But from Albarosa, what exactly will the association do? Is it going to provide some kind of health care? We know that was a big point in unionizing.
I think, obviously, can't speak on any specifics, but I think ultimately over time, we would. I think healthcare is a big thing that we want to get across for the players. It's been something that we've vocalized and something that we think that is needed to be a person in America. I know healthcare is a bit different. So yeah, I think that our ultimate goal is to get all the players either healthcare or a chance to get healthcare. I think that that's something that's on the horizon for us. I don't know how soon, but it's something that we're going to be working towards.
Great. I know those two questions people asked about the healthcare, so definitely want to very important for you guys, extremely important for you guys. Obviously, I mean, that goes without saying. Jumping back to Seattle, you know, and Fitz, I apologize if I stepped on your toes here. I was daydreaming over here, but last year, you know, became the 27th player in MLR to reach 50 appearances.
Yep.
You know, it's a pretty simple question. You know, well, actually, maybe it's not simple. Speaking of healthcare. What's the secret of staying healthy to accomplish 50 appearances?
Yeah, I don't. I guess playing through injuries is a part of it. I had some shoulder off in 2 off seasons, so it's been nice to have an off season without a shoulder operation this year. I think being around long enough helps, and being a part of an organization for a long time and being a stalwart there, like, kind of helps out a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I love to play rugby. I like to be on the field. Through pain and whatever, I like to play. So hopefully here's to 50 more and 50 more after that.
Man, back to that real quickly, talking about just playing through injury. Is there an injury you won't play through, or is it, you know, so long as your head right is okay, you don't have a concussion or anything? A dislocated shoulder, a twisted ankle, not a big issue for you. You're grunting through that.
I'm trying to play through whatever I can. Sometimes scans come a bit later than you thought, so you don't know what it actually is. But no, as long as I can play at a reasonable level, I like to be out there and deal with stuff in the off season. I try to get through it all. But yeah, I've had some neck stuff in the past. I think that's probably the one that keeps you off the field the most as a prop. It's the hardest one to play through, but yeah, I try to stay on the field.
You mentioned Starfire Stadium earlier. It's got to be fun playing in front of that home crowd. They always seem to come out and support pretty loudly, pretty vocally. Can you describe what it's like playing in front of the Seawolves faithful there?
No, it's awesome. I think that that's one thing that we don't have to worry about here. We show up to the stadium, we know it's going to be packed. We know it's most likely going to be sold out. I think it's been sold out almost every game since the beginning of MLR. I think that it's just growing here, and the fans are so passionate. They want to see you. They want to meet you. They want to be there for you. They want to scream for you. I think we're so lucky in that sense that we get to show up every day in that building and see so many fans that are diehard Seawolves fans. And like, right when you start getting in the 22, they start yelling. It brings energy for you. It gives you that extra little boost.
How old are you, Mason?
I'm 27.
All right, still pretty young. Have you you've played a lot of the levels with USA? All junior selects, Falcons, etc. I'm assuming the goal to get your senior cap is still there. And with that said, Jake going off to Charlotte. And I know you said you love where you are. We get that. You're going to stay. No, this is just a hypothetical question. Was Charlotte ever an option? Was that a thought that, if I went there in front of the USA senior coaches, maybe I'll get that chance sooner?
It wasn't really an option for me. No.
Okay.
I was in camp in July. Obviously the goal is still to get captain. That's my goal. Trying to do everything in my power to get that. But, I'm hoping to play for Seattle, play on a good side, and hopefully perform well, and that'll do the job.
And you don't like medal, because when you do come to the Free Jacks game, it is medal night.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That's my wife's from Boston originally, so I'll have a big fan section out there. So that'd be nice to get back there. I haven't played there since year 3, I think. So,
oh, wow.
Since I met my wife, or year 2, since I met my wife. So it's going to be fun to kind of be out there and see all of them and have a big support network.
Well, it's a great group. I'm a season ticket holder for the Free Jacks, but I won't hold that against you. Wait, hold on. You're not going to hold that against me. But hold on.
They also put on a great show. So they're really pushing the league to excel and do that. So big raps to them.
Well, the first year the Free Jacks in the league, I ended up going out to the match that Free Jacks played in Seattle. I believe you were with Austin at the time. And there was a conversation between Alex McElvey from the Free Jacks and the ownership of Seattle. So basically, Free Jacks, watching what Seattle did. And I was really impressed. I was blown away by it. It didn't look like some fledgling league that was putting on a match. It was great entertainment. So I could see where the Free Jacks get that from. But then I see like Paul Mullen from Utah comes into town. He's got family up the coast from Boston. Big family atmosphere. So when you get here after the match, I'm gonna give you a wig. We're gonna rock out together. Okay.
Only if you win.
So, okay. Well, okay. Either way, it's rugby and there'll be beer. So let's go back a bit. One of our listeners, Rick Meyer has a little question for you. We're gonna go way back. Okay. Rick wants to know how old you were when you started playing rugby, and how were you introduced to the sport?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 14, my freshman year of high school. I played baseball growing up in football, and then in high school, my football friends were like, come on out, play rugby. They were just starting a high school team at my high school. Funny enough, Gavin Hickey was the head coach. Yeah. And I came out, and the rest is history. I loved it and stayed with it. And my high school team was pretty good, and we had a lot of fun and won a lot of games. So I think that helps. I think we had like 7 high school Americans on it when I was there. So it was a pretty fun time.
What high school was that, Mason?
It was Wilson, but we played under Belmont Shore.
Yeah.
Banner.
Okay.
But so
that's a good club to play under.
Yeah, no kidding. How is the youth club scene in Southern California in terms of rugby?
I think Belmont's got well over, I think, a couple hundred kids playing youth rugby at the moment. So I think that it's thriving. In San Diego, it's thriving. I think it's a hotbed. I think they still have like a high school season and a club season. So you're playing double rugby. You can play rugby year round. There's no weather problems. I think it's probably the best place you can be to play. No, it's just a hotbed for rugby. A lot of Polynesians, a lot of expats, just a big mixing bowl of people, and I think they're doing a really good job.
Nice. That seems like the West Coast does a great job. All right, Mason, I'm going to leave you with an extremely serious question here. Yeah. It's very serious. You ready for this? Southern California is known for Mexican food. Where's the best place in Long Beach to get a good taco?
Ooh.
Taco.
Or do you not want to divulge the secret because everyone's going to find out?
I grew up. There's a taqueria on 4th Street, literally just called Taqueria. It's probably your best Mexican food in Long Beach. Cash only.
Ooh, very nice. Any good tacos in Seattle? It doesn't seem like a place that would be known for tacos.
Not good tacos. A lot of good Asian food. A lot of good Thai
Yeah.
food. A lot of good teriyaki. If you didn't know, teriyaki was invented technically in Seattle, which I found out when I moved here.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say. But no, teriyaki is very good. I think there's a lot of good hole-in-the-wall teriyaki places.
Excellent. All right, Fitzy, I've gone through my list of bullet points. What do you think? Anything else for Mason?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta ask Mason. You know, you're in the Seattle area now. Are you a big coffee drinker? And if you are, I mean, right, there's seemingly a Starbucks on every corner here. Do you go to Starbucks, or is there like a different, independent coffee chain?
Not
or
Dunks.
Something?
I think coffee is actually something I am very passionate about. I love my espresso. Not a Starbucks guy, very much a craft guy. Have a machine at home, make my own espresso at home, and yeah, no, there's a lot of good coffee shops here. I think at the moment, getting across the bridge a lot. I'm in Bellevue, but getting across the bridge a lot into Seattle, there's some good places there. Good places in Fremont and Ballard. Probably best cup at the moment is Milstead & Co. in Fremont. It's probably been the best cup I've had in a while.
And what is your go-to coffee order? Because I know sometimes those coffee orders, I go into some of these places and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, I'm going to embarrass myself. So I usually just ask for a black coffee. What's your order?
White. Just a nice flat white.
And what does that mean, flat white? Educate me.
It's a bit like a short latte, probably between 6 and 8 ounces. So 2 ounces espresso and 4 to 6 ounces of steamed milk. Just a little layer of foam on top. Not like an old school cappuccino with a big layer of foam, but just a little layer of foam on top.
All right.
Was that short or tall or vent? I don't know.
That's why Starbucks messing us up.
Exactly. Hey, Mason. Really, it's been a great conversation. We appreciate your input here on the new deal with USRPA and MLR. Congrats on that, and good luck this season. And I'm serious. I'm looking forward to headbanging with you after the match in New England.
Yep. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a great opportunity to talk about it, and just want to reiterate just all the people that put their time and effort into it, and the league for coming to the table and getting this done. I think it's a great step for American rugby players, foreign rugby players, the MLR. I think it's going to be a huge step in the future.
Great. Cheers, Mason. We'll talk again soon.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right. There it is. We know coffee, tall, small, and some good information in the deal. And I really appreciate the listeners for, throwing on some questions out there and some good comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially this guy right here. Look at this. Billy Rocks. Yeah, baby. That's my stage.
That's your stage name, right?
That's my stage name. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love these people coming in here and asking questions. It's beautiful. Good stuff. I mean, it seems like they're not allowed, or they can't really say a ton yet about the deal. Yeah. Or is there just really not much more to it yet? Right? It's written, but it's not finished.
It's probably there's probably some more details that need to get figured out. But to Mason's point, it's great that this is something that got finalized before the season starts, so you don't need to spend the effort to try and get a vote going and all the costs associated with that, or the resources drawn to that. So kudos to USRPA and MLR for coming together, and then as Mason said, all the folks on the steering committee to help bring that together. So I think that's just continues to solidify and maybe legitimize things, right? Because if you look at the success of the other professional leagues, there's always a players association attached to it, right? From the NFL and MLB, NBA, NHL, you name it, they all have them. So I think this is just another great step in that long-term stability of the league. You're muted, Bill. I can't hear you.
Wait. We have to. It's David Anu. All right. We got this comment from Rick. we have to answer it because we asked our guest that. So I'm going to let you go first.
No, you have to go first. I had to ask Mason what he meant by a flat white because I have no idea. I had no idea what that was.
In the morning, it's just a regular coffee. I actually drink Pete's coffee out of Seattle.
Yeah.
With just cream, no sugar. And if I go to Starbucks or a local place, I'll get probably just a regular latte with whole milk. Love that stuff.
Yeah. I'm
you don't even drink. You're gonna say Tai Chi or not, whatever chai tea.
I have been drinking more tea lately in the evening time. It helps me calm down and relax a little bit. But in the morning, I'm not embarrassed to say this, man. I dropped that little Keurig pot in there. I've got the Dunkin' Donuts flavor.
Oh, nice.
And I put a little bit of the Starbucks like creamer in there. Yeah, I'm crossing all the brands when it comes to the coffee in the morning.
Yeah, Dunks. Well, I guess you're on the East Coast. You're allowed to say Dunks. All right, last one. This was asked. Wasn't asked earlier. Actually, I'm glad this was brought up. I don't know if you have any background information on this. So, a question about if USA still has a deal with Flow Rugby. I think a lot of us agree. We hope not. I thought it was up either in 23 or 24. I think it was a 3 or 4 year deal. I believe it's up this year at the latest. Who knows if it's going to get redone? And my imagination or my thought would be that it would go to the Rugby Network eventually. That's my thinking.
There's, it's funny because there seems to be some really good options now, right? Like I've liked how Peacock has handled the sevens and being able to watch the Rugby World Cup there. The Rugby Network's been great for MLR action.
Yeah.
You've got Rugby Pass TV now, which is showing some matches for free. And I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain that's owned by World Rugby. So, with all the support that World Rugby is giving USA Rugby, particularly around the anthem, it'd be interesting to see who's going to decide where the TV rights go. But I think more options are good for consumers. So, look, here's the other thing. People complain about a paywall, and I get that, but there's costs associated with putting these events on, right? So the expectation that we're just going to be able to watch stuff for free, I think is unrealistic. Peacock is, I'm not even pitching for them or shilling for them or the Rugby Network, their Plus thing, it's $5.99 a month. I think Peacock's maybe $7.99. So like Flow Rugby, I know is a little bit more. I think maybe more of the gripe was the fact that some of the quality would drop on on the feeds. So if that can be fixed, but I feel like if they can support some free programming with a paid option, then we'll see. But I don't know.
Well, I'll end with this. There are so many OTTs, so many platforms now, Apple Plus, Peacock, whatever else.
Yeah.
I think everyone is just tired of paying $8 here, $20 here, whatever else. And now all these leagues are split up amongst platforms, but you have a choice. Again, 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, you had to go to a pub to watch games.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that it's available is great. Now, I will say this. The Rugby World Cup's coming up in a number of years. I strongly believe World Rugby will work out a deal with, say, NBC Sports or Peacock, which is all a bunch of that deal, or some other network like them, to start getting the game in front of more eyes. Not you and I, not people watching the show, other people who don't know the game yet. And you won't do that by having it on Flow or Rugby Channel or whatever, Rugby Network. Yeah. It's got to be on a TV. And so they have to get more people involved in the game. And I think World Rugby is going to get involved to make that happen somehow. Hopefully by the next World Cup.
Yeah, it's a discussion for another day, a chicken and egg. Like Rugby's got to grow for the network to invest more resources to put it on, network TV. Yep. But, so it's all something we got to work towards.
All right, everybody, listeners, thank you so much for listening in. Please like, subscribe, or follow this show and copy the link and share with a friend. Also, reviews really help the show grow. So drop us a review or comment. Be nice, be kind. Follow us on social media and visit Eagles Overseas and rugbymorning.com for more information. I gotta get rid of this graphic. There it goes. Hey, Fitzy. All right. Anyway, thank you all. Have a great night, and hope you enjoyed the interview today. See you, buddy.